Greetings, fellow Whovians. Well, this is it. A moment we've all been waiting for. It's time to talk about the 12-part epic, The Daleks' Master Plan. Maniacal laugh, maniacal laugh. Anyway, let's get started. Some 6 months after the events of Mission to the Unknown, the TARDIS arrives on the planet Kemble, and the Doctor leaves the TARDIS to try to find medical aid for the wounded Stephen, leaving him with the Trojan servant girl Katerina. Meanwhile, a space agent, Brent Vion, is also on the planet trying to find out what happened to Agent Mark Corey. After less than amicable meeting with the TARDIS travelers, in which he holds them at gunpoint and demands to be taken away from the planet, Vion curses Stephen and agrees to work with them to escape and warn Earth of the massive Dalek-led alliance that is amassing on the planet. Part of this alliance is a treacherous guardian of Earth, Mavic Chen, who has brought a sample of the extremely rare terranium, which will become part of the Daleks' ultimate weapon, the Time Destructor. The Daleks soon learn their presence on the planet, and the Daleks Supreme gives the command that Operation Inferno is to be carried out, burning down the jungle. The travelers shelter at the Dalek city. The Doctor then manages to steal the terranium by impersonating Delegate Zephon, as he, his companions, and Brett escape on Chen's ship, termed a spar. The Daleks exterminate Zephon for allowing the Doctor to impersonate him, and they cause the spar to crash on Desperus, a penal planet where prisoners are left to fend for themselves. Mavic Chen also departs for Earth in a temporary ship, wanting to find out exactly who the people who stole the terranium are. On Desperus, the Doctor is able to effect repairs, and they manage to escape when the pursuing Dalek ship itself crashes upon arrival. However, a convict named Kurskin sneaks on board the spar prior to take up Katerina hostage in the airlock once the ship has left Desperus. He demands to be taken to Kemble or else he will kill Katerina, but she sacrifices herself by opening the airlock, blowing the two out into space. Man, that is really dark. The Daleks warn Chen that the fugitives will be heading for Earth to inform them of their presence on Kemble, and order him to kill them on sight and snatch the terranium core himself. Chen worries that this make the space security realize he's a traitor, so instead he tells everyone on Earth that the terranium core is actually a vital substance needed to keep the peace. Space security agents patrol all corridors and guard all offices, and all landing bays are monitored for the arrival of Chen's spar. After warning Katerina's loss, the party arrives on Earth and meets a contact of Vion's, who turns out to be in league with Chen. Brent kills him, but seconds later, another space agent, Sarah Kingdoms, arrives and kills Vion, who later transpires is actually her brother. Bitch. And attempts to get the terranium from the Doctor and Stephen, but they are able to escape the office. She pursues them to a laboratory. The three are caught in the middle of a molecular dissemination experiment, and they are inadvertently transported to Myra, a planet populated by savage invisible creatures, where the three enter into an uneasy alliance. They are constantly attacked by the creatures, the Visians, and try to take shelter. On Earth, Mavic Chen stresses out, believing that the terranium was destroyed during the transportation. However, scientists carrying out the dissemination inform him that the computers are registering that the matter that has been transported, in case of mice, has successfully arrived on Myra. Chen angrily says that there's no evidence that the terranium wasn't broken up to pieces. He believes he'll be exterminated by the Daleks for his failure, so when he makes his report to them, he says he lured the fugitives into the laboratory, as their presence on Earth would have caused suspicions of the Dalek plan, and he tells them to pick up the terranium from Myra whilst he returns to Kemble. When the dogs arrive, they too are attacked by invisible creatures, and the Doctor, Stephen, and Sarah are able to commandeer the Dalek ship and escape. It turns out that the Daleks can pilot the ship remotely and bring it back to Kemble, but the Doctor is able to create a fake terranium core, which hand over to the Daleks for her escaping Kemble. Clever Doctor. After a brief interlude in which the Doctor and his companions journey to a police station in 1960s England and then a silent film set in America, the trio toasts Christmas, and the Doctor breaks the fourth wall by wishing Happy Christmas to the viewers at home. Wow, I think it's one of the rare times the Doctor's ever done that. On Kemble, the Daleks test the Time Destructor on Delegate Trantis. It has no effect, and the Daleks realize that it is a fake. A task force of Daleks disembark to chase the travelers, intending on recapturing the real core. Meanwhile, the TARDIS next arrives on a volcanic planet where the Doctor has to run in with his old enemy, the meddling monk, who attempts to sabotage the TARDIS in revenge for the Doctor previously stranding him in 11th century England. The Doctor is still able to fly the TARDIS to ancient Egypt, though he has to stop there for repairs. The monk follows him, as does the task force of Daleks and Mavic Chen. The monk, Sarah, and Stephen end up being captured and used as hostages, and without time to create another fake, the Doctor's force hand over the real Terranium core. They are only able to escape with their lives when some ancient Egyptians attack the Daleks, which they describe as war machines. Knowing that the Daleks will not carry out their invasion, the Doctor steals the directional control from the monk's TARDIS so that they can return to Kemble and stop the Daleks. The monk, meanwhile, anyway ends up on a desolate, icy planet and realizes he can no longer control the destination of his TARDIS. The Doctor is able to return the TARDIS to Kemble, where Stephen and Sarah, who get briefly separated from the Doctor, discover that the Daleks have turned on their allies, including Chen, and imprison them before apparently leaving the planet. The two TARDIS travelers free the alien leaders, and they leave to persuade their governments to ally against the Daleks, though Chen appears to die when his spar explodes during takeoff. Stephen and Sarah then find an underground base being used by the Daleks, only to be captured and held at gunpoint by delusional Chen, who marches them into the base and the dock control room. He tries to proclaim himself the leader of the Daleks, but they dismissively kill him. Now reunited with his companions, the Doctor activates the fully assembled Time Destructor. Knowing that the device will quickly begin aging anything in its vicinity, the Daleks allow the Doctor to escape with Stephen and Sarah. Stephen goes to head back to the TARDIS, but Sarah insists on accompanying the Doctor. The two are unable to get back to the TARDIS before the Time Destructor reaches full power, and Sarah's aged to death and reduced to dust means way from the TARDIS. Yeesh, that's also dark. Stephen helps the Doctor back inside, and freed from the Destructor's influence, the two are left weakened, but alive and back to their original ages. The Daleks try to destroy the Time Destructor, but instead cause it to run out of control, resulting in destroying the Daleks and all life on the planet. The Doctor and Stephen emerge from the TARDIS, and Stephen is distraught over the deaths of Brett, Katarina, and Sarah, while the Doctor can only contemplate the terrible waste that has taken place. Yeesh. Yeah, this is one pretty dark story, huh? Anyway, let's look at the production elements of this story, shall we? The series' soon-to-be regular composer, Jelly Simpson, did not work on the serial owing to a serious dispute with director Douglas Camfield. Sometime after the production of the serial of The Crusade, the two had a small falling out. On the next serial that Camfield directed, The Time Meddler, Camfield elected to use percussion music, playing that into the story's atmosphere. However, Simpson interpreted this as a snub by Camfield, causing the dispute to escalate. By the time the serial had entered production, relations between the two had grown so bad that Camfield refused to even consider Simpson, instead of hiring Tristan McCary. The dispute was still unresolved at the time of Camfield's death in 1984. According to the credits, the serial was written by Terry Nation and Dennis Spooner, with the credit from an idea by Terry Nation on Spooner's episodes. Script editor Donald Tosh claimed in an interview that the work done by Nation on the serial amounted to less than 20 pages of work, and that he wrote most of Nation's episodes. However, Doctor Who historian David Brunt has disputed this, saying that Nation submitted over 30 pages of script for each of his episodes, apart from The Feast of Stephen, and that Tosh only polished dialogue and or cut scenes out of time for budget reasons. Another controversy involves the title of the serial. Perhaps because of the multiple authors and or typists, virtually every conceivable variant of the title of the Daleks' Master Plan was used in contemporary documents. Though this version is on a plurality of camera scripts. During the production, the story was referred to as 12-part Dalek story on some documents. The original intention was that the police station scenes of the Christmas episode would feature crossover with the characters and location of the BBC's popular police drama Z-Cars. However, the Z-Cars production team vetoed the idea, although the Liverpool area location of the police station survived in the transmitted episode. John Pale's novelization of the serial references this plan by using the cast names of the Z-Cars actors for the police characters' names. According to the liner notes for the CD release, the fictional mineral Terranium was originally called Vitranium, but was shortened during production because of concerns about William Hartnell's ability to pronounce it. Also, I felt that Vitranium sounded too much like vitamin. I kinda get that. Tosh and producer John Wiles will later claim that the scene where the Doctor and his companions celebrate Christmas was not originally in the script. Excuse me. And that either the scene was hastily written by director Douglas Camfield, and the episode ran short, or that Hartnell made an unscripted ad-lib. However, it appears on Camfield's camera script, and it was indeed common practice at the time for practice at the time for BBC shows to have a direct address to camera for a Christmas episode, whilst editing would have allowed for the removal of the line if necessary. Kevin Stoney will return as Tobias Vaughn, another villain working with an alien force, the Cybermen, against the Earth, in the second Doctor serial, The Invasion. Additionally, Simon played Tyrone in the fourth Doctor serial, Revenge of the Cybermen. The lead actress of the film seen in The Feast of Stephen was played by Sheila Dunn, who was Douglas Campbell's fiancée at the time the episode was in production. The two were married just before the serial completed production. Canfield would later cast her in a minor role in The Invasion and a major screen role in The Inferno. The alien delegates at the Daleks conference on Campbell differ from those seen in Mission to the Unknown, and as that episode is lost, there is some confusion over which is which. Those that do reappear here had all been recast, while some are new to Master Plan, and some seen in Mission are missing. This only came to light when Dave Armageddon was returned to the BBC archives. Ray Pritchard, who appears in The Feast of Stephen as Man in Macintosh, had previously played Ben Tahir in The Crusade, and the Doctor seemingly mistakes him for this character. G. Marsh had previously played Princess Joanna in The Crusade, and later played Morgaine in Battlefield. She was once married to future Third Doctor actor John Pertwee. Brian Cant later played Charmantensa in The Dominators. Royston Tickner later played Robbins in The Sea Devils. Currently, only episodes 2, 5, and 10 are known as extant. All 12 episodes were recorded on and transmitted from magnetic videotape. Subsequently, BBC Enterprises had 16mm film telerecordings made for potential overseas sales. However, episode 7, The Beast of Stephen, the Christmas episode, was excluded from this, and the story offered for sale was an 11-part version. The original videotapes of episodes 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, and 9 are listed among the first Doctor episodes ever ordered to be wiped on August 17, 1967. At this point, The Feast of Stephen became the first episode Doctor Who to be seemingly lost forever. Oh, that's really sad. BBC Enterprises retained their film copies, although the story was never purchased by any overseas broadcasters until at least 1972. Whoa. A set of viewing prints was sent to the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, but the story was declined as it was judged to be suitable for adults, on the basis of its overall storyline, rather than cuttable scenes, and the fate of these prints is unknown. At some point in the next 4 years, the BBC's film copies were junked. The film copy of episode 4, The Traitors, wound up in the BBC Film Library, although the reasons for this are unclear, as that library had no formal mandate to retain such material. In 1973, the episode was loaned to Blue Peter Production Office for a feature on Doctor Who and never returned. Its ultimate fate remains unknown. By 1976, the entire story was considered to be lost. However, episode 5, Counterplot, and episode 10, Escape Switch, were returned to 1983 in circumstances which remain unclear. Episode 2, Day of Armageddon, was returned to the BBC in early 2004 by Francis Watson, a former BBC engineer. Since this was only one of 2 cardinal stories that were never screened outside of the UK, the other being Mission to the Unknown, the recovery of the missing episodes from overseas sources remains unlikely. Various clips from episode 1, 3, and 4 also survive. Episode 1, The Nightmare Begins. In late 1991, a new copy of the pre-filmed inserts for the story was discovered in a film can in the BBC archive. In 1998, these inserts were combined with the off-air soundtracks. A colorized version of the story, made by Stuart Humphries, aka YouTube's Babel Color, and James Russell, was included as part of the Dalek tapes, a featurette on the Genesis of the Daleks DVD. For episode 3, Devil's Planet, a clip of around 90 seconds was screened in the 1971 edition of Blue Peter, the clip presented by Peter Purves, who played the Doctor's companion Stephen Taylor. Purves, in introducing the clip, erroneously identifies the serial by the title Devil's Planet, and was only an individual episode. Episode 4, The Traitors. As the 1973 edition of Blue Peter featured another item on Doctor Who and included a clip of the scene leading up to Katarina's ejection from the airlock. In addition, prior to the recovery of the episode itself, the pre-filmed inserts for episode 2, Day of Armageddon, including the raw soundtrack, were retained by the BBC Film Library and never junked. In 1991, the archive copy was discovered to be missing, but it was recovered in 1993. In 1998, these inserts were combined with the off-air soundtracks to reproduce the scenes as transmitted. Wow, That's a lot of stuff going on just for this one episode. But overall, it is pretty interesting and I really enjoy it. So overall, I give the Daleks Master Plan 4 sonic screwdrivers out of 5. Well, join me next time join me next time for yet another episode review. That episode is going to be The Massacre of St. Bartholomew's Eve. Ooh, that sounds like another dark one too. Well, anyway, until next time, this is Hoovy and Queen saying,
"Oh my goody aunt, when I say run, run, I reverse the polarity of the neutron flow. Would you like a jelly, baby? Fantastic. Allons-y, Geronimo!" Bow ties are cool, vests are cool, and Stetsons are cool.